Good morning. Good morning, Palencio. Yeah, it was really fun. You're also featured in one of my upcoming videos, so look out for that. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. You know, it was so fun, and we performed actually quite well. So why not? So welcome. How are you today? I'm good. Today is a really nice morning. I have some stuff planned for my stream. Oh yes, I know the feeling. I will probably come to that later. I will also stream some PvP. I finally got accepted as a Twitch affiliate. I'm really happy about that. Yay. So that's might be, you know, enough to keep me positive throughout the PvP stream. Oh no, yeah, I mean, if you see Scourge in a match, that's bad already, and then you have 2 and capping, that seems horrible. I get that. Yeah, I have some really nice tea prepared for the stream. Yeah, I mean, I think that's I think it's completely okay if you have different skill levels of players, but I think that's just the problem in current PvP, that if you queue, especially in off times, there is only one match ongoing, and that makes the experience of everyone so bad that no one wants to queue again, you know? That's why I try to queue as late as I can throughout the day and don't go. If I'm online in the morning, I say, okay, I have to restrict myself and don't go and press the rank button. I mean, sometimes I can actually try to go for some nice PvP montage plays, you know, because often you have a lot of bad teammates in your team, but in the enemy team there are of course also very bad teammates. So then it might be easier to get really nice one-shots or even 1v2s, 1v3s that you can put into a montage. But I feel like that's not worth the pain to go and play matches where you have 2 Scourges capping your close point. That seems a little bit hard. Welcome everybody. So I was hoping to get my emotes, let's say, allowed on Twitch, but sadly they are still pending, so I have a little bit less emotes than I would normally have. But I have a really funny one. I can show it to you. I really like this one. But of course, like often, this emote is behind the subscription, so sorry to all you that are not yet subscribed. So let's see if some PvE activities are already happening or if it's too early. So sometimes I get some, let's say, comments in the YouTube sections of my videos, and I really don't know how to respond to them. For example, I made a video recently about spirit shards, and if you have a lot of them laying around, you can make 1,000 gold just by spending some time converting them. And someone just said it's wrong. I don't know how to respond to that. If I try to explain it, or if I just say that's I can't talk to people that just say it's wrong. It's really hard. I don't know. Yeah, I think those are the matches that you are looking for, you know, the really close matches with and against good people. It's really fun. I often really enjoyed it. Especially, I'm really happy when I can record or stream those matches, because that's also, I think, the most exciting matches to watch. And if I just record them and don't stream at the time, I try to make a commentary out of it, you know, so that we can all learn something from those matches. And one of those upcoming ones, Palencio, you already mentioned you are looking forward to, so it's the Catalyst side note build. I have a really spicy match as well. Just a slight teaser, it's on Temple, and I think Temple is one of the maps where you have the most rotations, where you have to think about, because there's possibly 5 points, 5 nodes to capture, and I always feel like, especially in ranks, if you make one mistake in a, let's say, not really high level ranked match, it might be the end, because your team just fails to complete an objective or something. And this was one of those matches where it was so close, and I really enjoy that I have it on my hard drive now, and I can make a commentary about it. It's really cool. As always, if you have any feedback, questions, I'm happy to talk about it. Always want to learn something in one way or the other. So please don't be shy. And one of the comments that I also think is hard to respond to is someone telling me that the Fresh Air Catalyst build, with Scepter and Focus for PvP, is not high level viable. So if you're a high level player, you can't play that because it's too weak. I was just, I don't really know what to say to that, because of course it might not be, Chronomancer or something, let's say Condition Herald or something like that, but it's still a really good build, and in my opinion, I think it's definitely high level playable. I think Oddemelion and Zeolith played it all the time. So I found it really hard, because if I try to explain why it's so good, I try to do that in my videos, and if people still don't get it, I'm a little bit, I don't know what to tell them, because I might not be able to convince them anyway, I feel like that's one of the things that I have to learn as a rather new content creator, that it might not be possible to convince everyone that it's correct what I'm telling you. So, hi Lex. So for open world, I would always go for, if you just play alone, if you don't have a team or a party around you, I would always go for Celestial. And then I have a build video on YouTube about the Celestial Catalyst. It's using Hammer. If you don't like Hammer, you can go for any other weapon as well. Hammer is probably the best choice overall, but if you use Celestial, it's just so broken in PvE in general and in open world as well, because you have so much boon duration, you can upkeep boons easily, you can tank a lot of attacks because you have enough sustain and defense. It's just a really good recommendation for open world builds, and especially for players that are, not really comfortable with the mechanics of a boss fight, for example. Because if you know every single attack, when to dodge and stuff, it might be more damage if you go for a full glass cannon build, of course. But you have to get to that point, and some bosses, especially if you're doing some solo content like bounties or events that are for multiple people, most of the time it's not really possible or not that easy to do on a really glass cannon build, because you have to tank some hits. So I would always go for some Hammer Celestial Catalyst, if you're playing Elementalist, that is. But like I said, I have a build guide about it. Just 1 or 2 weeks ago I released it, so be sure to check it out. Let's do some strike missions now that some people showed up. Yeah, I only do Cold War if I have the time, and it's currently the priority strike of the day, and I haven't done it this week. So I think there is not a lot of times where I do Cold War, but it's okay from the gold perspective. It's just really boring, the first part. Thanks a lot for the raid. Welcome, welcome everybody. Thanks, Braxan. Just doing some PvE currently. Later I will also do some PvP. Hope that the matches aren't too bad. Thanks for the follow. How was your stream, Braxan? Hope you had a nice stream. I think actually that's my least favorite strike mission, Cold War. I'm pretty sure. Just because the first part, you have 8 minutes of standing around and doing nothing. Or, I mean, you can do something, but it's just boring. And if you have the choice between a power and a condition build, in this strike mission, always go for a power build. Otherwise you don't do anything in the first part, which is not good, you know, you should help your team. And the strike mission anyways incentivizes players to go semi-AFK, AFK. So if you play a condition build, you most likely will be AFK because you can't deal any damage to those mobs, they will otherwise die. So I actually really enjoy Power Virtuoso. I'm really happy that they buffed it. I think that's the playstyle they should have gone for since the beginning for Virtuoso. I actually have some hot takes on Virtuoso design. I think they have done some mistakes in the past when they released Virtuoso. I think the trade line should have been designed differently. I think the last trade line, the last part of the trade line, is condition focused, and I think it should not have been, to be honest. I think the correct decision as a balancing team would have been to say Virtuoso is a power spec only. You can't really play as it as a condition spec. I see that daggers could make conditions and bleeding in particular. I think that makes sense, and I'm happy that the build exists now. But I think it would be way more fun if it's, let's say, only power and you can alter the last part of the trade line to something that is cool, you know? Because now it's just you have some shatters that are not instant anymore. You have to cast them. You can't cast them while running away. There are so many, you know, inconveniences, especially for the competitive modes. And I think they should have gone for example, a trade that allows you to instant cast them or something like that. And that would make such a big difference, you know, in the playstyle. And I think that's cool. That's how the trades should be, you know, a really big difference in the playstyle. But they did not do that. So now we have to live with it, I guess. And I might be, you know, just a minority. I think a lot of people, especially in PvE, enjoy the condition build. I also enjoy it, I have to admit. Just saying it's probably not, you know, it would have been much cooler if you have one spec that is clearly designed around power. Halfway through, that's good. Let's see how many chests we can get in this. I think my record was 8, but I think that was insane. I don't know how we managed that actually. I think that's not happening a lot. Yeah, I think I totally agree. I think that's how especially the last trades should be. You know, you have a power focused, you have a support focused thing, or some survivability focused thing, and then you have a condition thing. I think that's totally fine. But I think the spec itself has some issues in the sense that it's, you know, not very comfortable to use, and I think you can make up for that in the trades to balance it around it, you know. So if you want more damage, you have to have that, or you're unblockable, for example, blade songs, you have to give up that it's instant cast. I think that's really cool design, you know, that you give up something to have another effect that might be stronger in the situation you are currently in. And I feel like if you always say every single spec has to have one support, one condition, and one power, let's say, specialization within the specialization, I think that gives you a lot less cool choices, you know, because, for example, Catalyst in PvE, if you want to give quickness, you have to take the quickness trait. There is no other way around it, you know, and that's just not, you know, really, you can't really design cool traits around that most of the time, because it's just, this trait gives you the boon that you need, you have to take it. This trait gives you more damage. If you want to deal damage, you have to take it. And I think that makes it a little bit less interactive, you know. I think traits like, for example, the trait that alters the, how's it called, the scepter, you know, from Necromancer, where you get the really cool AoE boon corrupt, you know, on scepter 3, which you normally don't have in this, to this extent, because you get the big upgrade from the trait. I think that's really cool. That's how traits should be, that you have traits that alter your build in a really cool way. And I feel like if you niche all your design decisions to just having one trait per, let's say, power, one trait per condition build, then it's way harder to come up with something like that, you know. Especially now, when all the classes can use all the weapons, all the specialization can use all the weapons. I think it's even harder to make some cohesive build, you know, that is not using the same weapon. So if I play a condition condition, let's say Mesmer, I will always use the same weapons as if I would play a condition or a power Mesmer. I will always use Spear. There is no way around it. And I think if you could make some traits that are cool and altering the what's it called, just some skills, doesn't have to be many, you know, it just has to be some, you know, That would be cool. I really would enjoy that. Nice. Completed it. This was one of the fights, except Bone Skimmer, that was really, really good for heal Scourge, because if a lot of people might fail the AoE attack of this end boss, and then you could rest all of them. That's just so fun. But nowadays, people might not even die to it anymore. That's insane. Hi, Roaming Spirit. Welcome, welcome. Oh no, we lost the player. So for this fight, I always go for more CC. Yes, I will sacrifice some damage for it, but there is actually some CC in this fight involved, and I always think it's more beneficial to help my team there and to do 1k more DPS or something. Yeah, I think in Fractals it's even more common that people that are DPS, at least on, let's say, lower levels, that people are just DPS and think, okay, I don't have to CC, I don't have to do that, that's my support that does it. I think that's such a common mistake in Guild Wars 2, that a DPS is, yes, it's your, let's say, major role is to deal damage, but of course you are part of the group, you know, you should do all the stuff that is required for killing the boss or succeeding it. And I always try to be my role first, but at the same time not going for really greedy plays and just say, okay, my team can go for CC. If I know that my team can do it, yes, I can, I can adjust to that. But on some CC heavy fights like this strike mission, or even more CC heavy like my Twin strike mission, yeah, you should always go for CC. Why wouldn't you? It's just slowing down the whole team by not going for any. And especially in Fractals, if you fail CC checks, for example, to skip some phases or on some challenge mode bosses, that feels so bad. Just because you greeted for some damage stats, you lose all your phase power. So yeah, you should always be mindful of that and think, okay, do I need CC in this fight? Yes, then I go for it. No, my food. I really enjoy Spear on this build. It's so fluid, the rotation makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think this is especially, true that with the, let's say, no pain, no gain and all the mobs that are buffing themselves, if you don't have any boon rip and your CC is lacking, what are you doing? It's the same bosses every time. So just now, at some points you should know where to do what, and if you play Mesmer, for example, it's I have to be careful. I don't see this guy. So yeah, so what I was saying is that if you play Mesmer, you have really easy access to boon removal. A lot of people don't know that, because Mesmer is actually, in PvE, I would say, the best class for boon removal. It's not Necromancer, it's Mesmer. And the reason for that is just one trait. It's actually one trait that allows builds to function. I will show it in a second when this fight is over. Just want to not grief my team here. Yeah, I mean, let's say you have a 5 party with you know all the players, then sometimes it might be okay to not go for CC, especially if the boss doesn't require that much and your party can cover it, But if you are in a pack group, I would say if you have no CC, then that's not good, in most cases. So this is the trait I was talking about. Vicious Expression. You and your illusions deal increased strike damage to foes without boons. That's good by itself. But then, disabling a foe removes boons from them. And this works against targets that are defiant anytime, So if you use a CC skill of any kind, you remove 2 boons from them. And if you're now playing any kind of power Mesmer, you always have this trait, and you have so many CCs, This is a CC, this is a CC, this is a CC, this is a CC. And this can be a CC. And that's insane. Of course you can go for Shattered Concentration, but that would be a DPS loss. This trait by itself, is most of the time enough to remove boons. You just have to be aware that all your CC skills remove boons. And now if you play, for example, Power Chronomancer, I will swap to it for a second. this thing is a CC, and every single illusion you shatter with this will remove 2 boons. Then that's insane. You know how much boon removal you have then if you do it in the correct moment. So that's why Mesmer is the best choice for boon removal. And if you have a Mesmer in the party, if it's a power build, you should always take advantage of that if you really need boon removal. And then of course you have this skill as well that baseline removes boons, Doesn't really CC, but it has still 5 boon removals and 4 bounces. So Mesmer is by far the best choice. And if you have problems in a fractal and you have a power Mesmer, then it's a little bit weird. Yeah, if you use both traits, you lose some damage. It's actually quite a lot of damage, 10%. Should be almost always up. But if you really need more boon removal, yes, of course you can go for that. But I feel like this, with your amount of CC, is actually almost always enough, And I think it's really cool that this is the trait that you would use for maximum damage as well. So that's really cool, So you don't lose anything by going for this trait and remove boons. So here, for people that were wondering, you don't really have to go that far with the circles, because you can stand in one. Doesn't matter if you get hit by one. You just insta die when you have more than one circle on you. But I always think in pack groups, better safe than sorry, Yeah, I was just thinking my quickness uptime is a little bit lackluster, and it's true, it's only 80% or 85% in our party. It feels so bad because if it drops, you don't see that you're... Oh no. If it drops, you don't see it at the moment of the cast, and oftentimes then you don't complete your normal attack just because you thought that you would have quickness, and normally you cast it faster, so it's really bad. I think that's one of the worst boons to miss in PvE. Thanks for the raid, Lion Chaser. Welcome, welcome. Did you stream Guild Wars 2 or did you play some other game? Because I know you are quite new to Guild Wars. Did you stream it or did you play something else? Just doing some PvE for now. Yeah, my stream is good, well as always. Nice, very good. Hope you still enjoy it. I think Guild Wars is a really nice game. I think a lot of people underestimate how good it is in the outside community. Which is sad, you know. But if you try it and you stick to it, I think it's crazy good. Yeah, I think in Guild Wars 2, in general, the UI lacks some customization option for roaming spirit. I think you have always the same setup and all your skills always look the same. I think there was one time, I'm not sure if it's still the case, I think it is, that for example the Warrior, Spellbreaker, Elite skill has different colors depending on which team you are on, so that you know if it's an allied or an enemy bubble. But all of the other skills actually, especially nowadays in PvP, when you face, for example, there are 4 Mesmers or something, you know, and all of them play Spear. Oftentimes it's so hard to see which of them you have to dodge or react to, and which of them you can just say, okay, that's mine, I don't have to react to. I think that's a lot of visual clutter that you shouldn't have in your game. And it's really hard to balance because it's really important to see the skills, you know, it's important to see them, but it's also to some extent not that important if it's your allied skills, you know, but sometimes you want to see your allied skills as well, you know, want to stand in the null field of a Mesmer if it's yours because it cleanses your conditions. So yes. So if you play Mesmer in PvE, I would really go for Spear. So Spear is so fun. It's really, really fun. So and it's currently, if you play a power build, it's currently also the best option by far. It has so much, you know, you have so much possibilities. It does the most damage. It also has some CC if you need it. And you have even some evade on it and some condition cleanse and healing. It's just so overloaded, the kit in PvE. And it's also overloaded in PvP. So that's why everyone uses it, even after the nerfs. So let's see what we can do as well. So I would say Sword was the go-to option as a Mesmer before you had Spear. Or at least, so Greatsword was the option on this hand, and before you had Dagger you would have gone Sword. So Sword is a little bit outdated, I would say. You have an evade, yes, but it roots you in place, so you can't move while you use this skill. Which is a little bit bad, because this skill is an evade and you can move while doing it. And your Sword auto attack is probably better than the Spear auto attack, but you have no illusions on your sword, and this illusion is so good, you know, this Phantasm is so good. And you just hit so hard with this weapon, you know, that's just the thing. I mean, yeah, I think it's just a good weapon overall, the Spear, and I think it's totally fine that you have the new weapon that is really good. I think they just should look at it at some point, that the sword is not used anymore in any game mode. I think it's used in PvP on support sometimes, but it's not the best option. Yeah, definitely in the competitive modes, I would say the dodge hits really hard. So your ambush. But of course, currently Spear Mirage is quite meta, so to say, in PvP as well. But it's so squishy. So if you play this build, you have so much damage, but you also die so fast. Yeah, nice. I'm always try to be consistent now on stream. Glad to see you as well. So if any one of you has some questions, I'm always happy to answer. So please let me know. So if you play, I mean, I would say if you have if you play a power build, I would go for a power weapon, and both staff and the scepter are typically considered as a condition weapon. So most of the time you want to lean in one direction, not both, you know. So you always want to have a power weapon and only stick to power damage, and therefore all your weapons should be power. So if you want to go for a spear, which is what I would choose, then I would go for either sword in the other hand, or I would go for, like I currently am, for dagger and sword offhand. Just because then you also have some ranged option and it's just the best damage you can get. But you can just try everything. That's the cool thing about leveling, you know. It's not so hard that you are required to have the best option. It's the only way you can do it, you know. So a dagger, yeah. So sorry for my pronunciation there. It's a dagger, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was talking previously, that it's just, you know, all the classes have now access to all their elite spec weapons, because before Soto, all the classes had, for example, Mesmer had access to shield, but only if Mesmer was using the Chronomancer elite spec. And nowadays, Mesmer has access to shield all the time, and that makes it a little bit less, you know, restrictive, but at the same time it's also easier to build, because you don't have to think about, okay, should I use my Virtuoso because I have access to my dagger, or is it better to go for something else because the elite spec is better. Nowadays, just use the weapon you feel like is the best one, and then that's it. You can use it on every single elite spec. And you can see I'm using the same weapons, I think almost the same gear as on Virtuoso, but currently I'm playing Chronomancer, and previously that was not possible. It's always nice if you're second DPS as a support. And you know there's something going wrong. So dagger, yes, sorry, I didn't see it. Dagger is actually 1200 range, so it's a fully ranged weapon set. And does only power damage, and actually the damage is really, really high. So that's why you take it on every single power build. I think the problem is that the Elementalist Scepter is a weird weapon, you know? So, because if you think about it, if Staff is the long-ranged option, you know? And Spear is also the other long-ranged option on Elementalist. Why would you have a third long-ranged option with your Scepter? Because what role would it fill, you know? And the answer would probably condition, but Scepter is actually not a condition weapon, I would say. Scepter is a mix. Scepter is, on Elementalist, can deal amazing power damage and has some condition application in Earth and Fire. So the question is, why would it be, you know, why would it be... Wait, this are too many people. Okay, I don't know. So why would it be a 1200 ranged weapon when it can fill exactly the same role as a power spear and gets the same, you know, it gets even better because it can also use conditions. I think if they would buff it like that, I think that would be too good. And especially on Elementalist, where you have not only 5 weapon skills, but you have 20 at least. On Viva you have even more. Then I would say it's just not feasible to say, okay, we should go for a higher range. Yeah, definitely. I think it's fine to have some mid-ranged. I think that's how it should be, you know. You should have some weapons that are really long-ranged, you should have some weapons that are really melee, and then you should have some weapons that are somewhere in between. I think that's fine. I think, and the reason why Mesmer Dagger has such a high range is the only reason for that is that you have no control skills, you don't have any condition application on itself. The only reason why you would take Dagger is for strict power damage. And that's, I would say, that's a valid choice, especially because you have so really strong other options. You could go for Sword and you get the evade, you get the teleport. You could even go for X because you have the evade there and the superior clone generation. And you could even go for Scepter if you go for some really bruisery playstyle because you have a block there. So you should always take into consideration what weapons you are up against, not only look in a vacuum at your weapon, you know. Yeah, I totally agree that there is no range condition weapon for Elementalist, except I would say your Scepter is to some extent a condition weapon, and it loses 300 range. Yes, that's true, but I would say that's okay. You have condition application in your signets, which is 1200 range. So I would say Elementalist does okay, and especially all the elite specs that you have in Elementalist are actually melee focused. You know, look at Tempest. Your If you overload, you want to be in melee range. If you are Viva, you want to use your stances in melee range. If you are a Catalyst, you want to stand in your Jade Sphere, which is most of the time not a good place to be if you're ranged. If you kite or something, you don't want to go back into your Jade Sphere, you know. Or you want to, but you probably are not able to because you have to, you know, run away or something. So the thing is, I would say Elementalist weapons, yes, you could go for, they could design a new weapon that is ranged and conditioned, but I would say they should just rework staff to some extent. I think the staff weapon is a little bit weird. It's some kind of support on water and has some nice CC, but at the same time it lacks power damage and it doesn't do any condition damage either, I would say. So it's really weird. I think they should just rework staff. That's the more likely option. Yeah, I mean, I think if they really would go for something like that and try to separate skills, I think that's not an option you would go to by default, you know, because it makes the game way harder to understand for new players. I think they should think about how can we do it in a way that is cohesive in all game modes, you know. At least that's what I was what I would try. And if you can't balance it, then you can go for some splits. And I totally agree. I think the fire staff skills should be reworked to some extent so that they do some damage in the future. But yeah, I mean, let's see what they come up with, especially with the next expansion. They teased there will be some kind of new gameplay feature like relics or something, maybe another weapon that all classes can use, maybe even elite specs, we don't know, probably not, but yeah. And then we can have some more, you know, some more choices, weapons, options, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely not the way to go in World vs. World for a staff condition build. It's not working. I think you can play actually some Condi staff Tempest support mix in PvP. That's actually doable. I'm not sure if it's the best choice, but it's definitely a choice that is okay. It's playable at least, you know. But I can just follow the statement of Drosy that in ranked condition builds currently are just worse most of the time. Because there's so much power burst damage, and oftentimes you can't deal any damage before you get killed. Yeah, sure. Have a nice day, Valencio. Yeah, maybe I'm there. Let's see. Would really try to get some matches going. Yeah, so what I was saying is that I think condition builds in general are hard to balance. You know, they should not be overtuned and oppressive, but at the same time they should be fun to play. And I think if you do a condition build that is 1200 range, it's oftentimes actually really strong. You know, it's really, really strong. And that can be a problem to balance, you know, because just the range is so big. And you can't balance range, you know. Yeah, I think on crit traits are only working on Celestial Gear in competitive modes, and at the same time I would say that it's most likely a PvE trait. Because if you play condition builds in competitive modes, you most likely want to go tanky because your conditions need to ramp up. and if you can't survive until then, you're of no use. And therefore, these traits, you have a 33% chance to apply burning on critical hits. You have a 33% chance to apply bleeding on critical hits. They are just not really good enough if you just had this. Most of the times there is some other, let's say, value to this trait. For example, you get more duration of burning or something, and then it's worth it to run on condition build as well. Yeah, exactly. So condition builds are, I think, considered to be way less fun to play against than power builds most of the time by a lot of people. And I think that's a problem. And therefore, they don't want to have oppressive condition builds in competitive modes. Because oftentimes they result in a bunker with still a lot of damage. And in World vs. World, that it's even more, pronounced because you have the Trailblazer gear, which is, by itself broken because you have so much tankiness by still having the same amount of offensive condition stats. Yeah, I think with the removal of expertise on Celestial gear, if you're playing some kind of condition-focused build, then yes, definitely it's a bad choice. I would say there are other classes that actually get hit more by this because they have really long-lasting conditions, and then the expertise might be even more of value. Because if you have 50% increase by a 1 second burn, yes, most of the time, that's yeah, I don't know. It's questionable if that's really the way to go, to say, okay, I go for 50% expertise value. I would go for some burning duration increase rather, so. But okay, I would say, I think if they could give precision to a Trailblazer, this would just be insane, They should not give any stats to Trailblazer. Trailblazer is good enough by itself, they should not change anything. I think they should rather do some, just like I said before, they should give some really cool trait, maybe in fire, maybe not, I don't know, that alters your weapon skill. So for example, that if you take this trait and you have a staff equipped, you get 15% crit chance or something, and your weapon skills get improved to some extent. That would be cool, that you are incentivized to run a special trait line. Maybe it's even on Earth, or something that is not that commonly run, so that you have to go for another build, that you really go around it. Because I feel like fire in Elementalist, every single build runs fire. I think there's only a few exceptions where you don't go with fire, for example, fresh air or something. But yeah, I think that's just some copium there. I think they will not introduce a lot more of those traits. I think that's just not happening because it's a lot of development investment, and it might not be enough payback. At least in my opinion. So, by the way, if you're looking for spirit shards, you have a few more days where you can farm this labyrinth. It's insane how much spirit shards you get. Just run around on a build that can take all mobs, have all boosters on, and you get so many spirit shards. because someone was saying in the YouTube comments they never have enough spirit shards, they can't do the conversion to gold. And that's a fine point, but if you run around like this and do some meta events, you have a lot of spirit shards actually. And if you play World vs. World on PvP, you of course have enough tomes of knowledge lying around. At least that's my opinion. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. This guy was writing that my let's say my gold guide about how to make gold out of spirit shards is just wrong. And I think it's a really good way to convert to get some gold, you know. If you don't have any spirit shards, yes, then it's not a good way, of course. But that's not what the video is telling you. The video is telling you if you have spirit shards, you can make a lot of gold. And I would say most people that play the game on a, let's say, daily basis have enough spirit shards. You know, look at my inventory. I have 4.7k spirit shards, and I have, I think I have 7k or something tomes of knowledge laying around. So that's another 7k of spirit shards. So, yes, I might play more than other people, but if you play to some extent, you get enough spirit shards in all game modes. In PvE, of course, you have to use boosters to get even more experience, but the other game modes give you a lot of tomes of knowledge all the time. I mean, I get the point that especially if you're going for a lot of legendaries, you're going for the Orien variants, you have to have a lot of spirit shards. Yes, I get that. But at the same point, I have almost all of those. You know, I have all of the legendary Orien skins. I have all legendaries almost in the game, and I still have that much spirit shards. You know, so yeah, I think the argument doesn't hold. So spirit shards is, I would say, is not a currency you would normally be interested in as a new player, just because you are more interested in leveling your characters, and that's essentially the same thing, you know. I would get a level up, and instead of the level up, because I'm max level, I get a spirit shard. So that's the same thing. And as a new player, of course, you want to level up your characters, and you don't care about extra level ups. Therefore, you probably don't have that many around. But you need them in a lot of endgame stuff. So yes, you might need some at some point, but I would also say you get more than enough. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I mean, like I said previously, you have a lot of stuff that you have to learn about. And spirit shards is, I would say, not something that you should care about until you have all the characters that you want at the maximum level. But this guy was writing in the YouTube comments that they had played the, I don't know, raids and strike missions or whatever every single day or something, and they don't get enough spirit shards. And I was saying, okay, if you can clear raids, you should know how to get enough experience or something to get all the spirit shards. I was just surprised about that, you know. It's actually, that was something that I learned, you know, roaming spirit. It's actually not true. It's actually not true. If you have, for example, the mastery of the corresponding area that you're currently in not maxed out, you have, it seems like, you know, this is stuck here. You don't get any spirit shards because there is no spirit shards symbol here. And you only get it when you have leveled all your masteries to the maximum. But it's actually not true. There is a hidden bar behind your normal experience bar that needs the 250k experience anyway. And if you complete it, you get a spirit shard. It's actually just hidden. It's there, it's just hidden. I did not know that either. But I also have to admit, I never run around without max mastery level because I always do that on the first day. So That's a really hidden feature. No one tells you about it. So you cannot waste experience in this game. It's not possible. I mean, of course, if you buy something for spirit shards and then you trash it or something, yes, of course, then you wasted it. But yeah, I actually have to admit, it's so hidden, not a lot of people know about it. So it was a fair point, you know, if you talk about people and tell them that. But now you know, that's even better. Yes, to be honest, that's one of the features that no one tells you, but it's so important. So if you have any bouncing chests here in any game mode, it doesn't matter. You get any rewards by this bouncing chests. You don't have to left click them and use the pop-up window and press OK or something. You have to just right click it if you know what's in there and you don't want to see it. It's just way faster. You get instantly into your inventory. Should always use it. I think that are features that a lot of people don't know because it's not in the game. I think that you get told how to do this, you know. It might pop up at some point, but if it's only once and it's covered in a lot of other text, it might not be. Yeah. Yeah, nice. I mean, I was also thinking about that line chaser just from the other way, you know. As a veteran telling new players what to do. What I would tell people, things that you should know when you start out the game, that no one tells you, but it's really good. I think that would be one of those features. At the same point, I would also say it's really hard for me, you know, because I know a lot of features, but a new player might not know all of them, and I don't know which one I have to tell them about. But still, I think that would be, both videos would be a really good setup, you know, that you have a lot of thought put in and would help a lot of people, I think. Yeah, I think this is one of the things that is so good because it saves you so much, you know, just annoying stuff, you know. I'm not sure if you save that much time, you know, overall, but it's just annoying, you know. It feels so much better, especially, for example, in World vs. World and PvP, you sometimes have those, you get 4 or sometimes you get even 10 or even more potions where you get instant reward track progress, and that pops, I think, 10 or 20 chests, and if you get those, you can then get 10 or so bouncing chests here. And if you have to, every single of those you have to accept with the left click and then another left click. If you just get right click, it's done, you know. So it's really cool. I think another feature that's also really fun, you can see I currently have some achievements here, and that's really cool feature that you can say, okay, I want to mark this. But there is also a really other cool feature, you know. For example, if you have any achievements here, you know, they are always in this order and they order themselves like, you know, completion level. But the funny thing is, actually you can change it. You can draw this and make it like whatever you want it to be. That's a feature that no one knows about, actually also the veterans. And that's such a funny thing, because it's actually no one thinks that this is possible because the Guild Wars 2 UI is not at all flexible. So you would not expect that. But that's one thing that is flexible. That's so funny. I mean, it's not a feature that I would say is totally necessary. Everyone needs to do that. But I think it's a nice thing to have, you know. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. So if you show that to people the first time, they are so, what? You can't do that? That's insane. Yeah, exactly. I think they are a little bit technically limited on how much UI they can, let's say, move, or you can adjust, because the only thing you can really do with your UI is change the size of your UI. Where is it? There's some thing you can change the size. Let me check. Yeah, here, interface size. You can change the interface size, but it makes it a little bit, it's a little bit weird how it works. And it's not changing the point, let's say, where your interface is. So your health bar is always in the middle here. Even if it's smaller, it's still in the middle. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sure, go for it. I think that's a really cool video. But I think sadly Guild Wars 2 doesn't have that many of those features where you say, wow, that's a feature I really needed or is extremely hidden. Like Roaming Spirit pointed out, settings are actually also quite interesting in Guild Wars 2. I made a settings video quite a while back where you have to go, where I go over all the settings, not only graphics, but also especially the how's it called? Options about ground controls and a lot of the options regarding this here. So the combat, instant targeting and auto targeting, retargeting, about all that stuff, because a new player doesn't know anything about it. And I think they will probably also not learn it if no one tells them. And I tried to make a video about it and explain why you should use that. And for example, there is melee attack assistant. Really horrible stuff is, I think, on default. I'm not sure. I think it's on default, and that's really bad because that means that if you have something targeted, you can't move through it anymore because your attack, your assistance will prevent you from moving through it. And that's just so bad because a lot of the times the easiest way to dodge an attack of a mob is just move through the mob because the attack will then go behind you and stuff like that. And retargeting is also really, really important. So if you have a target on a foe and you cast something and then you swap the target, you can go to the other target while you are still in the cast of the attack. Something like that is so really necessary, especially in competitive modes. But also in PvE, of course. If you say, oh, this attack doesn't go off or won't hit the target, let's swap to another one. It might make so much sense, but it's really important that you know it, you know? So I would say Action Cam is one of the features that I would not recommend to players because it makes the game way harder for a lot of people. Of course, if you enjoy it, go for it. But I would say in most situations, it's actually not the way to go. Because you have so many skills to hit, you have skill shots to land, especially AoE targeted skills are horrible to land with Action Cam. I think in some situations, yes, it's fine. But I would not recommend people to say, always use this. I think that's not the way to go. Yeah, so there is an option in Guild Wars 2 that you can, can't move your mouse anymore. Which is, I would say, an option that makes sense for some people. I don't like it because I want to place my AoEs and stuff where I maybe not looking, you know. But if you are more, like say, coming from an action combat, then that might be the way to go. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, I think that's totally fair, and I think that's a cool feature to have in a game. You know, that people that need or want action cam, they can use it, and other people like me, we don't have to use it. I think that's really cool. But you should try it if you feel like you are better with it. Go for it. But what I would always do is, for example, zoom out to the maximum. I think that's a tip that is a lot of people give to you because it's just so good. You know, you have way more oversight over the fights. If you zoom in like this, you don't see anything. You know, there is so much clutter. You don't see what's happening. If you do like this, it's way better. It's still a lot of stuff going on, but it's way better. You know. So you should always think about stuff like that. Like I said, I have a video about it. Sadly, it's not that popular, but I think it's a really good and important video to talk about the settings that you should change, especially for a new player. I mean, it's difficult, you know. It's a 10-minute video where I talk about all the settings you should change or you should try out. But for a new player, that might be way too much, you know. I talk for 10 minutes about all the settings, and people say, "Oh, after 1 minute, I was not understanding anything anymore." That's sad, but I really try to, you know, to go to the important settings and tell them about it. So, yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of those settings actually should be, you know, they should be default. I'm really confused why they are not using defaults, the better default settings. I find it so weird, you know. Yeah, that's true. I totally agree, Klaus, that there are a lot of settings videos out there. But the thing is, I wanted to make a concise video, and a lot of, for example, I think Teapot did a settings video that was over 40 minutes long or something. And I wanted to make a video where I talk about the settings in 10 minutes. You know, that you can watch the video and think, okay, I'm done with my settings after 10 minutes of adjustment. Because I don't like to join and try a new game, and I have to sit there for hours until I get my settings right. I think that's horrible. And yeah, that might just be my opinion, and I tried to, you know, show also all the settings, because sometimes it's way harder to understand what the settings are doing if you can't show them in combat or something. Yeah, I think that's totally valid as well. I don't want to criticize any video of Teapot. I think it's a huge effort and stuff to make those videos. I think that's totally fine, of course. The thing that I was, let's say, talking about is more, if people don't have the time to watch this kind of video, I want to make a video that is a little bit, you know, more concise. Yes, that's a good feature as well. It's you can do it whenever, you know. Whenever you have a boss in PvE or something, you can press on the, let's say, event where the boss is currently showing his health bar, and you will target to the boss. That's a good feature as well. Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the things that if you start a game, it's one of the annoying things you have to do. You have to change your settings to something that you would enjoy. But most of the time, if you have it, then it's way more, you know, fun to play the game. For example, I am now so, you know, used to my settings in Guild Wars 2 that if someone asks me how I can, you know, cast my skills, I have to think about it first, even though I would never think about it if you say, okay, use your elite skill now. I just press the button. But if I tell you this is the button I use, it's way harder for me to explain it. So you can do this. You can go to the artificial crafting station, and then you can turn the luck, the lowest ones, into higher ones. I can show it to you. I'm not sure which level is required for that. Which you know, crafting station level. I can check. But at the beginning, I think. So you just type in luck, and let's see. No, I think you can craft it whenever. It doesn't have any level requirement, and you can just turn the blue luck into green luck, and the green luck you can turn into yellow luck, and then into exotic luck. Yes, you don't. So you need to be the crafting position. It's only possible on this station. Be aware that this is only one. So if you have a character that has leveled this to the maximum, another character won't get this level. So it's not, it's character specific. So you should always use the character then. But like I said, this is, I think, the first refinement is level 0. No, I think it's level 0 for all of them actually. So you can all the refinements you can do on those. Yeah, that's good. I'm not sure if it gives experience because I'm max level. I can't tell you that. But if it does, it will stop at some point. So it will give you the first maybe 50 level or something experience, and then it stops. So you can't level to 500 just using luck. But that's fine, you know. And there are a lot of other ways to level your crafting stations. Yeah, sure. Like I said, go for one after the other. You don't want to go for everything at once. That's way too confusing and also might be not smart, you know. I would say chef to level 500 is actually a rather good profession to level, because you then can get access to ascended food that you can craft. Especially if you have some teammates, they can also use it. That's good. And the other crafting professions are mostly if you want to craft ascended gear. But I would say ascended gear it should only be your last choice to craft it, because crafting is quite expensive, and there are a lot of other ways nowadays to acquire ascended gear. No, I think you don't need a house for the. I'm sure you don't need a house for the level ascended feasts, but you need some cooking achievement. I don't know how it's called. Yeah, this one. No, this one. It's not this one. So there is an achievement. So some kind of little treasure hunt you have to go for to unlock the possibility to craft to level 500. But it's really fast. You just have to do some stuff with some bloodstone. I'm not sure. I can check. Give me a second. I can give you the link. Yes, it's called gourmet training. Okay, let me check. Yeah, this one. So, and when you get, I think when you get this one, you will unlock the possibility to to get scented food for yourself to craft it. You need the, yeah, I know this one. Yes, so this is a little bit weird. So first of all, where is it? Yes, I know. I can show. This is one of those. Yeah. This one. So you can buy those. I think you can buy on the trading post. Yes. And then you have to go to your home instance. That's a different thing than the homestead. Your home instance is something what every character has, and it's specific to their race. And then you can plant this the thing in the gardening plot there. And after 1 day, so 24 hours in real life, you get the full-grown cultivated stuff, which you then can at the same time also sell for much more, just because it's time-gated. So it's in your home instance. And if you're, for example, a human, you can go there in Divinity's Reach. So it's always in the major capital of those, races. So Sivari would be in the Grove, and Asura would be in Ratasum, and on and on. And there is a special, instance where you have access to, I think, always, and it's just for you. There you can put this in the gardening plot. So let's see what we got here in PvP match. Okay, sorry, I don't know. I have to change my settings then. So we have a Firebrand support, that's okay. And we have a lot of damage. And they have even more damage. Oh no, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, so, but I would say you have to do the achievement one time, and then you can easily craft it by buying all the components on the trading post, and then you can craft your Ascended Feasts without, I think the time gate is nice if you really want to go there and put it there 1 day and then the next day you get it. I think that's fine. But if you just want to craft 10 feasts or something, you can buy all of the components. If you have the achievement, that is.
The match starts soon.
So, you get experience from doing this, yes. You get experience for your character, but I would say that's if you kill a mob, it's the same experience, so it might be way easier to just get the mob kills. And it doesn't increase your crafting experience, it's just your character experience. So therefore it might not be the way to go,
Point C is in enemy hands. Point A is yours. I demand that you release me.
So we got some kills here, but we lost the map. It's not good. Let's see if we can concentrate a bit and get the damage back on, and then kill some enemies while not losing the points. That would be good. So that's a Condi Berserker. Interesting.
The enemy has point A.
Sure. Have a nice sleep. Very good. See you next time. Thanks again for the raid.
Point C is yours now.
He actually hit me with that. I was sure it was out of range. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for your support.
Point C is in enemy hands.
Cores installed. Charging the laser.
Point B belongs to you.
So here I try to support my Scrapper actually, yeah. Holy shit, the damage was insane. Hello, hello, hello. That's my first match of the day, so let's see how it goes. Currently it's really, really close. We are 3 minutes in and it's almost no points gained. So let's see if we can make something work here.
Point A is yours.
So here I should probably leave just because we have 3 people against 1. But
Point C is in enemy
that's a really good ring. Holy shit, that was a really good ring. That's why we got the kill. Against classes that don't have any stability, that's really cool. So is this... Oh, that's a bunker DH. That's not fun. So here I leave because apparently 3 people of my team want to fight against the bunker DH. Yeah, spear is really good. It's really good. I think it's one of the most balanced spears, the Revenant spear. It's really good. Here I stay on point just because I might get the cap. Okay, really close.
B belongs to you. The enemy has point A.
Nice, we got the kill here as well. Oh, no one capped. Not good. No, why would you... I'm not sure.
Point C is yours now.
Okay, 3 people here. Now we have to be a bit careful. And we also fight directly in front of their spawn, which is not a thing where you want to be.
Charging the laser.
Okay, we got this kill, I think. So Skyhammer is up again. So one of my teammates already went there. So we get a kill here, very good. But we don't get the cleave because they are using all the... That's good, we get nice damage. Maybe we can kill it. Yes, very good.
Our moment has finally come.
The enemy has taken point B.
Skyhammer calibrated to blue.
Very nice. Can now get the bleed. Now we're in a good spot. Just have to make sure that no one rests this guy. Could be.
Point B belongs to you. Point C is yours now. The enemy has point A.
Okay, very nice. It was a bit of an overcommit. That's why our scrapper here is actually a little bit in trouble here. Okay. Now I have to be very careful. Okay, I don't want to fight a bunker at the edge, so I leave. Nice.
Cores installed. Charging the laser.
That's a matchup I think I can play.
Cannon operational. Ready for targeting coordinates. Skyhammer calibrated to blue.
Yeah, it's not that exciting actually. Yeah,
Point B
the 1v1.
belongs to you. I have returned to fight at your side. The enemy has taken point B.
So we are really overcommitting here to close, so that's why I leave. Make sure that my teammate doesn't die here. No, maybe I just deny the decap. Oh, sad. Actually, he got the CC change just because I did not have the stun break ready. Unlucky. Yeah, that's interesting, but to be honest, I don't really have a problem with running around sideways at full speed because most of the time I just use those two keybinds, you know.
Point B belongs.
So that you can strive.
Point C is in enemy hands.
Cannon operational. Ready for targeting coordinates. Skyhammer calibrating to blue.
Allow me to act.
Very nice.
Your team is victorious.
Long match, but we actually won. Very good. I actually had some decay because I did not play that much PvP the last few days. And that's where you get instant 8 reward progress, and that's what I mean. Now I have a lot of bouncing boxes and I can get all of them. Very nice. That's why this feature is so good, you know. Just instantly get all the boxes. So I will do a very short bio break. I will be right back. So I'm back. Sorry for that. Yes, I think I'm almost back in Platinum. Let's go for one more, I guess. And probably lose it, so we will be away from Platinum again, but that's fine. I just play PvP because I really enjoy it currently. I'm not sure the meta is not, you know, my favorite right now. I would rather have a little bit slower metas, but that's good enough for me. So I don't even have the keybinds for just going left and right, you know, so that you turn. For me, it's always like this, so I strive. And if I do run at the same time, I can move at the same speed while still going diagonal. So that's always the way to go, I would say. Of course, if you have action cam, you get some benefits that you can turn really fast. But for me, I have the same by using this. Yeah, exactly. So the strafe is very slow, but if I move forwards, it's the same, you know. I move forwards at the same speed while still moving in a different direction. Of course, this is slow, but I would never do this, let's say, to move to the left or to the right. I would always go like this, you know. It's way more... You should always move forwards. I don't see a situation where you would move like this. Really, I mean, it makes sense if it's fast that you use it often, because then you don't have any negative effects. But I would say it's not necessary. I don't have any situation where I think, oh, that would be way better if it would be faster. Yeah, exactly. You never should walk backwards like that. That's really bad. You should always walk like this and look backwards, and then you can still, for example, cast skills that like the force skill here, you can still cast it while you're running away, so it's really good. I find it so interesting that they programmed it that way, you know. Why can't we move backwards faster? I think that's a balanced decision, and I think they just didn't think about it with the action cam. Because I think it makes sense that you can't go backwards as fast, not only from a logical perspective, because you don't have eyes behind you, but also because if you could move as fast as you would if you walk forwards, it would be way too broken. You could use all your skills while running away, you know? That's just broken by design. Now you have to, if you want to run fast, you have to go like this, and you can't really cast all your skills behind you. Some of them, as this you can, but not all of them. And that's a balanced decision that makes sense. Ah, okay, that makes sense. So do you have the same problem then, that you can't use skills behind you? Then it's fair. Then it's totally fair. Then I get it. It's crazy how long the queue times are, and then sometimes someone doesn't accept, and it's back at the 5-minute queues again. Yeah, I think it's just very uncommon that you would use action cam because a lot of people actually think it's the inferior choice, just because how much, you know, usability you lose. Because of course sometimes you don't want to use your skill where you're currently aiming because you want to look back and use your skill behind you, or you want to. I think action cam is not for me just because of that. But I think it makes sense because some people like you might be used to action cam of playing other games and stuff. And I think it's totally fine that you use it in this game as well. I think it's really cool that they have the option to do this. Thanks for the follow, Rich. Like, thanks. So we have a good team, actually. I don't know. Actually interesting. No, it's an X5. Okay. Let's see how it goes. Again, a Skyhammer match, really low, slow pace most of the time. So they have a lot of power damage, which is good for me because I have some toughness in my build. Let's see how it goes. I think the last player didn't really play that well. I think that then it makes total sense if you play other games. Then I think it's actually smart to use settings in all games that are somewhat similar. I have the feeling if I play other MMOs, oftentimes I have problems getting to know all the new keybinds, and when I start getting to know them, then I go back to Guild Wars and I completely forget them again. So it's not. I have to be really careful because keybinds are really important, and especially something like the action cam or something. If you... 2 Mesmer? Okay, interesting. That's a crazy mate. So let's see how it goes. We had an instantly killed one. Was to be expected out of stealth.
Point A is yours. I have returned to fight at your side.
Very unlucky. We actually got a kill here. That's really interesting. I mean, it's a core Mesmer. It's not the most valuable pick, probably, but yeah. Have to help our Mesmer here. Nice burst, very good.
Point A is yours.
My teleport didn't work. That's so sad.
Point C is in enemy hands.
It's a core power mass mod. That's some kind of cook in PvP. Why would you do that? It's just worse than the... I think this guy's dead actually. He has so many conditions.
The enemy has taken point B.
Cannon operational. Ready for targeting coordinates.
So here I tried to get the decap by evading. Because if someone stealths, they need to de-stealth. And they can only de-stealth if they have a target to hit. If you evade, they don't have a target to hit. So that's it.
Point A is yours. I have returned to fight at your side. Point B belongs to you.
Nice, we got the kill. We got Skyhammer as well.
Skyhammer calibrated to blue.
Point C is yours now.
It's intense, definitely intense, very intense.
To fight at your side.
I knew he would do the 4 here because that's what I would have done.
Cores installed.
So I don't want to go into 101 because I don't have that much cooldowns left. I would rather outnumber someone where I'm not that likely to die. You know.
Point B belongs to you.
Cannon operational. Ready for targeting coordinates. Skyhammer calibrated to blue.
Unlucky.
Is yours now.
Yes, I get your point that you can do that. That you can snap your target to your... that you can snap your casting to your target. But sometimes, especially for example grenades or something, you don't really want to target the exact same location that your that your target currently is, just because it would move in the time that your skill lands, you know? And it might not be enough, you know? If most of the time I would say it's fine, but there are some times where it's not fine, where the target will move in the same instant where you cast it. Ah, that's smart then. If you have a keybind to use then, to swap, that's good. That's one recommendation I had in my settings video, to have a keybind to toggle that. It's a tough match for me. So we actually lost the whole map here. Now we have to be really careful. I will now help Stronlo, just to make sure. Oh my gosh, I instantly ported in this.
The enemy has point
Cannon operational. Ready for targeting coordinates.
That was really unlucky. That I ported in the full burst of the Soul Beast. Yeah, there are a lot of cool keybinds you can assign actually in Guild Wars. Because the snap target to the current targeted target is actually really good, especially also for allied targets. For example, you can use that in conjunction with your healing or with your glyph, you know.
The enemy has taken point B.
Maybe you'll think twice next time.
I think that's a classical moment where we just get snowballed. That's bad. Really bad.
The enemy has point A. Point B belongs to you.
Protected. Refreshing. I feel energized.
Cores installed. Charging the laser.
Please target this guy, we can kill him.
Cannon operational. Ready for targeting coordinates.
has point A.
Skyhammer calibrated to blue.
Grant me your strength, my friend.
That's a tough match. We have 2 minutes and we have 60 points to get. So
Point B belongs to you.
that's a really tough match. So let's think about it. We have to contest everything.
Point C is in enemy hands.
Watch.
The enemy has point A.
I think at this point it's actually lost. I think 130. We have to get the decap close.
Point C is yours now. The enemy has taken point B.
I think we lost farm. Yeah, it's over. Crazy. So I was not concentrated in the middle of the match. That was sad. Could have won that.
Point C is in enemy hands. We must rise and return to the fight.
Got the target.
Point A is yours.
Sad. Could have won that. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to help. Not that much happening right now. As always, if you don't know what to do in Guild Wars, you just go into World vs. World and see what's happening there. Currently, I'm also really enjoying Willbender, but I'm actually looking for a Revenant build because I really enjoy Revenant, especially with Spear. So if you have any suggestions how we can create a build that is using Spear and is not, you know, full tank, I would really appreciate it. So we have here 2 people. It's a good damage, but we didn't get the kill yet. Got it. Please, where's my teammate? Okay, we don't have a teammate, but we have an enemy that's helping me. That's good. Really nice. Nice, I got them both. We got the engage from our teammate, but I think it was after I got them. Nice. Was a nice situation here. Yeah, I think this is a really cool setting. So if you activate when you need it, or deactivate when you need it, whatever, I think that's really cool if you can manage that. Then I think then you have most of the time no negatives, no disadvantages of using the action cam. If you can do it as fast as a normal player, as a, let's say, a normal player without action cam. Okay, now they are backed with 3 people. Let's see. I have no cooldowns. I have to be really careful here. Okay, there are so many people. Yeah. They got me. That were too many. Yeah, if you have a mouse that can do that, then that's good. Because I feel like Guild Wars 2 has less skills than other MMOs, definitely. and therefore it's actually easy to put some stuff like that on the mouse. Definitely. That was actually a clean 1v3 or something, 2v4. But when there are 4 people on a Willbender, it's highly unlikely you get anything done. Is it the same guys? I think they are the same guys. Oh no. Yes. That's typical world versus world experience. This spawn cam view. Yeah, or for example, if you look at Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft, where you have 60 skills, you know, that you can use. If you want to put them all on your keyboard or your mouse, it's not likely. So you always have to do some combination. Guild Wars 2 doesn't have that problem. So you can put keybinds like that on your keyboard or your mouse. Nothing going on. If I stay here, they will spawn camp me again. That's just boring. I think I should swap. Yeah, I mean, I think Guild Wars 2 has a lot of skills, that's true, but you don't have the ability to press all of them at the same time. I think in old school MMOs, oftentimes you have 40 skills and only 10 of them are frequently used. In Guild Wars you have 10 skills on your bar, let's say 15, and they rotate and you use them whenever you need them. But the key to use them is always, you know, located at the same position. So even if you swap your weapon from the spear to your sword, you have the two skill with this, you know. And in other MMOs you would have always the same weapon, but you would have 40 different skills all the time, and you have to assign them with different buttons. So that's what I meant. Okay, interesting. Yeah, sounds also reasonable. I think there are different approaches how to do that. I think oftentimes you have some kind of hotbar where you can assign skills to that you would, let's say, use often, and then on the next hotbar you would assign skills that you use less often, and you, for example, do a modifiers key, for example, shift or control, and when you press this, you go to the next hotbar. So that makes sense, I would say, in my opinion. But Guild Wars doesn't need it, and of course doesn't even have the ability to customize your hotbars in any way. So I think that's a feature that's definitely would be really cool if you could customize your hotbar and stuff, so that it's, for example, bigger or on another position especially. But I think that will not come. Maybe it will come with Guild Wars 3. We know that they are developing a Guild Wars 3. So it's actually quite likely that they will do that in the next game. But in the current Guild Wars, I don't see anything why this will happen anytime. Let's try to get this tier 2 camp. Let's see if they don't defend it. Could of course be defended. Ah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a feature that is really cool, you know, that you can order your skills however you like them. In Guild Wars, you only have the ability to order your utility skills, and that's by far not enough, you know. So I think that's a cool feature to have some kind of order in your skills so that you know this one has to be used after this. I think that's definitely cool, especially as a player when you want to learn to do your rotation. Because oftentimes if you do your rotation, especially on Elementalist or something, it might be not worth it. Thanks a lot for the follow. Chili Puff. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoy what you see. And hear, of course. Yeah, I think the problem is if you would allow more hotbars or something in Guild Wars 2, it would also make the game even more cluttered, you know? You have so much visual clutter at the moment, and if you then also increase the hotbars and the stuff that you can see at one, let's say skills and other stuff, then it might not be, you know, it might even be harder to get more clarity. At least that's what I think. I feel like the hotbars in Guild Wars are really clear, really clean. But it's the problem is that it's not enough for a lot of people, and that's a problem. That you don't have all the skills that you would like to see or assign in the biggest possible manner. I have to kill this guy before I engage the 20 guards here. No, it's not 20, but still. I mean, Rick, you should, if you have the, let's say, possibility, you should try everything before you, or the things that you like, you should think you could enjoy the most. And then if you feel like that's the one, then you can commit to it. Of course, if you see my video and then you think that's a good one. You have to be really careful here, because if there are so many guards around, it's not a nice matchup to take. Okay, I got him. Now I can actually try. Let's see. I try now to let him bleed a bit so that he can't respawn and contest the map again. Oh no, they have a... So not good. There are now 2 people here. I'm not sure if I can fight this anymore. Have to be really aware here where the thief is. Another one. Now it gets a little bit tough. Holy shit, 3 people. Oh, he got me. Yeah, 3 people are too much. Yeah, I get this point, but I think that's one of the points where I think it's just technical limitation. I think they are not able to do that. I think it's server side that this skill is always here. I think they can't let you change it to this position. The only thing that they actually can do, I think, is that you can change the skills here. So if you have the option, for example, on Hammer, on Ranger, you can swap the skill. There are 2 possibilities. But I don't think they have the option to swap this skill to this position. Ah. Welcome, Trashweb. Greetings to Australia. I don't know. I really don't know if it's just a simple UI change to make that happen. And even if it is, I think ArenaNet doesn't want it. I think that's the big thing. I think they don't want it. Because otherwise they would have done that before they started the game. Why wouldn't they think about that before they launch the game, Because that's such a basic feature to have, to change or to customize your hotbars, that I don't think they wanted to have that. I think they wanted to have a UI that always looks somewhat the same, so that there's some, people can see the screen and instantly know that skill was 2. It's the setup, it's not complicated, it always looks the same, it's to some extent clean, it's not that cluttered. I think that's what they wanted to have. But yeah, I don't totally agree with this policy, I would say. So this build is actually really fun to play. That's why I play it. It's probably not really a top pick for roaming right now, just because the outnumbered situations are actually not that good. But it's fun. That's why I play it. So if you have questions about any builds, always happy to answer. Yeah, I think that's a point as well, but you could also go for a combo without having the same positions, you can say use this skill, and then use this skill, it doesn't have to be 2, 3, 4 or something, but yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's in any case not our decision to make, we have to take it how it is. And I think it's not that bad. I think a lot of people say it's horrible that you can't change the position. I think the position and stuff is fine. Also, I'm not sure if you really would adjust all the skills all the time. I think most of the time you just stick with how you learned it, But the big thing I would say is the boon bar and the buff bar. I think that's the big issue I agree on why people don't like it, because it's so hard if you have, for example, in PvE you have 10 boons or something, and you have to also look at if you have a new buff or debuff coming in from a raid boss or something. It's so hard to see. That's, I think, something that I would say is priority for them to make it clearer. Yeah. But I totally get your point. Yes, of course, it's way easier to say use 2, 3, 4 and not use Helio Rush and then use this and then use this. Yeah, I get it. For sure. Why are there always so many people on me? I can't get a one-on-one. That's so sad. Yeah, I totally see that point, that you don't know the names and stuff. But it's also, I think for the weapon skills, it's fine because most people actually use the default ones. But if you say use your 7, not a lot of people actually have the 7 skill bound to this. At least not a lot of veterans, you know. And therefore, I would say it's not that easy. Sometimes it's way easier to say use Facet of Darkness, use Facet of Chaos, because no one knows what keybind you used for that. The thing is, Snowcross websites, I would say, is not made for people that made for people that didn't play the build before at all. You know, they want to tell you what is the most optimal way to build to gear your character, to what rotation to use, and it's not like you just ref to level 80, you go to Snowcross and they let's say explain every single skill, how to use it, and how it's called, which, you know, spot to put it. It's more for people that, you know, want to have a rough understanding of the class and want to play the most optimal build for the current meta. You know, that's what Snowcross is for. I get that point. I totally get it, actually. But I think they also have the icon there. At least as far as I remember, there's always the icon for the skill. And I think that's actually the most important thing, that you see the icon. If, for example, I see the patch notes and I get the skill name, I don't really get all of the skills directly. But if I get the wiki version where always the icon of the skill is there, I instantly know what skill that is. So I would say that's actually, for me at least, it's fine. I can see why people would rather have 2, 3, 4 there, but yeah. What can you do? I mean, I'm not the developer of this website. But it's a valid criticism, definitely. I think if I do the rotation of, if I learn the rotation of a new build, I always first, of course, change the gear, change the traits and stuff to it. Then I go to the, how's it called, Lion's Arch, Aerodrome, the Golem Room, however it's called, and set up my boons and the Golem. And then I go step by step over the rotation first without, let's say, without touching the Golem at all. Just seeing which buttons I have to press and how they, you know, how long they cast, what movement they have if I don't know that. And then I go step after step. I don't write the whole rotation down and, let's say, try to memorize it from top to bottom. I always think about doing steps, you know. That's my opener. So I try to really get my opener right. And when I have it perfectly, or at least very close to it, then I go to the next step. And then I don't really have the problem of, you know, having to remember all the skill names, because I remember the button presses in the correct order. And so I first check, okay, they want to use this button now. And it doesn't matter to me which skill it belongs to, you know. That's at least my way of doing it. Thanks, Cyan, for the follow. Thanks a lot. Yeah, but I think a rotation to learn is at least if you want to go above 90% or something of the benchmark, it's, I think, the most of the time you spend on grinding those muscle memories, you know, that you get the perfect rotation down and without thinking about it. And as you spend so much time doing this, I would say it's not a big issue for me that you have to first look up the name and of the skills, and that takes a minute. I think that's fine. If I grind the golem for 1 hour and I take 1 minute to remember the name, that's okay, I think. But I get your point. If you really want to optimize it, you should also write the number down. Should not be that much of an issue. Yeah, that's interesting, because I would say that's for me that's actually time that I would say I would rather invest in optimizing my muscle memory, you know, that I say, okay, if I would write it down and need 10 minutes to write it down, I would rather have the time to optimize my opener, optimize my button presses when I can cancel the aftercast or something, you know. That's more time I would rather invest in. But if it helps you to rewrite it, of course, go for it. I think there was actually some kind of, you know, really helpful UI as well, so that you can see, for example, when a special skill hit, that you know this is up, and then the next skill will hit. But I think most of the time, some helpful UI in Guild Wars 2 is not allowed, because it's not, you know, some kind of weak aura or something from WoW. This is not allowed in Guild Wars, that you see which skill you should use next. It's crazy, yeah. I mean, that's if it helps, you know, sure, why not? I mean, some rotations are, I feel like it depends how fast paced the rotation is and how many buttons you have to press. For example, if you play a Quickness Herald powered with only swords and not use Greatsword, then the rotation is so easy that I can remember it really fast without having to write it down, because there are only 10 buttons or so to press. But if you have a really long rotation, for example, a typical Elementalist rotation is like 40 skills or something, or 30 at least, and then I can see your point, that you have some rotation that you want to have written out and go over all points that you see. Yeah, if you have, of course, yeah, you're right. Tempest, for example, it might be easier, but if you play some Catalyst or something, then it might be harder. Something where you have to go through all attunement. For example, Spear Catalyst is crazy. You go through all attunements and you always have to use your 5 skill and use your weird, you know, charge mechanic of the spear. I just have to focus here. Where is everyone?
You've captured Dragon. You've lost Lion.
There are 4 people on me. Hello, help me, guys. I mean, nice. We got a counter kill. Very good. We got 3 kills out of that because I didn't die. Okay, sounds good. I take it every day. Yeah, I get that. I think I should probably also try to do that in the future. For a really long rotation, just stick it next to my monitor so that I really see the points which I missed or which I have to do next. Because oftentimes I forget in the middle of the rotation and I have to start over. But if it would be much more helpful if I had it next to me, you know.
You've captured Dragon.
Because I always try to memorize it, you know, because I know that I won't have the time to look it up in the real scenario. So that's now a little bit risky. We're pushing full to our far node. But try to CC chain here a bit.
You've lost dragon. The Colosseum's artifacts are accruing power. You've captured Lion.
But I think I have to be honest, I really enjoy the gaming experience without any add-ons, you know? Because if you have to use add-ons to make your life easier, I often feel like that's a little bit cheating, you know? I really like to get good at a game without the help of add-ons. So I really think if you can memorize stuff, that's better. That's just a better way. Give me a target. No target, okay. It's interesting. The blue team always goes for all the buffs and sacrifices the whole map for that.
You've captured the field.
I mean, so don't get me wrong. I'm not a particular, enjoyer of achievements. So, for example, some hunting of some pressing F. For example, the Sky Scale collection is horrible because you just press F all the time. Yes, I'm not enjoying that, but I don't need an add-on for that. You know, I just go to the wiki and check where the locations are and then go there and do it. That's how I think you can do it. You don't need to have an add-on for that. So we have to be a little bit careful here.
You've lost dragon.
Okay, we got him. Very good. Yeah, I think modern games are so much better if you have a second monitor where you can look up stuff. Also for the rotation, it helps so much.
You've captured dragon.
Therefore, yeah, that's why I feel like that's the way to go. But of course, if you don't have a second monitor, that is way harder, and then an add-on can help you. Yeah, for sure.
The Colosseum's artifacts are accruing power. The artifacts have reached maximum power. Blue team has obtained an artifact.
Nice, we got the 101.
You've lost dragon.
No.
You've captured lion.
Holy shit. How much damage was that? Even with toughness. 10k or something? Okay, not showing here. But the thief engaged with a backstab and I lost at least 7k or something. I did not see the thief coming. With the sword buff, it's amazing how much damage they do. Should have been more careful there. So this guy gets so much value, we have to kill him. Okay, he's dead. I should let him bleed. We get decapped here mid. Ah no, I made it in time. Very good. Now we have to be a bit careful because that's a Condi Untamed, which is hard for me to face to some extent. Nice, we got the kill. Now I push far. Just to make sure that we get some points and don't let them get enough points to make it a close game. Don't want to throw again. Good morning, Kenshi. How are you today? Yeah, I'm actually also the same. I don't really like to use my phone. I'm not the, even though I'm rather young, I'm still not the phone generation. I'm not always on my phone. I'm always on my PC. That's just how it is, I think my phone is a worse PC. Oh no, the thief is here.
Have reached maximum power.
No, I'm playing Herald. It's not Vindicator, it's Herald, but it's with Spear and Mace Shield.
You've lost Dragon.
It's a condition, or it's a hybrid Herald build for PvP. It's not played in any other game mode. And yeah, I try to play as best as I can because it's a fun build and it's also a really good build to carry.
Blue team has obtained an artifact.
Yeah, it's a cool class. It's fun to play, but it's not that easy. I would say it has a medium skill level that you need to play it rather good. I think I will stream for at least half an hour or an hour more. This guy gets so much value. He's permanently in a 1v2. He's carrying the match on his own. The rest of his team is actually not doing really good. And we are constantly going into this guy.
You've captured Dragon.
I knew the Willbender would engage on him, so that's good. Kill him, kill him. Yes, we got the rally. So let our Mentalist cap and I try to help my team here. Got a rally. Now I think this was the sword buff.
You've lost Dragon.
Yeah, great. I really enjoy if people come to me and tell me my videos are helping them so much. I think that's how it should be, because I oftentimes have to. Oh my god, he got 3 people with his burst, 2 in downstairs. That's insane.
Colosseum's artifacts are accruing power.
Are we actually losing this game again? Oh no, please. Yeah, roaming spoiled, see you. Thanks a lot for coming by. Hope to see you next time. Oh my god, we're actually losing it. It's impossible. How are we losing it? Give me a target on mid, please, 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 please.
You've captured Lion. You've captured Dragon.
Oh my god, is that close? Will they get the cap? Do we get a kill somewhere? If they don't get decap, I actually think we win. Oh, that was actually insane. How? What is my team doing? 500 to 499. 499. That's insane. That was so close. Way too close to comfort. Yeah, I mean, we could have played that well better. Way better. That's just insane. Let's see if some strike missions are up. That was insane. I think the problem is our team permanently ran into the warrior on our close node, and the warrior was permanently against 2 people, so we were outnumbered over the whole map, and that's not good. Yeah, definitely. I think every class has its own, advantages and disadvantages, and I think all the playstyles are a little bit different. For example, a warrior is oftentimes really close up in the fight, doesn't have that much, magic spells, and therefore it's a little bit less of teleports and stuff, so that might be different. But if you know what a class can do and what a class brings to the table, it might be really fun to learn all of them. That's why I enjoy Guild Wars so much. There's so much possibilities. Yeah. And I think that's the right mindset you have there. That you think it's not everything is easy, but you have the ability to master all of it. I think that's cool. That's how you should think about it. Let's see if we can get a nice match as well. This one was actually way too close. It should not have been that close. I really like this legendary on my Revenant. It fits so well, Mace is a condition weapon, and it's fiery, it applies burning, and it gives you the nice, crystals. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, exactly. I think if you don't have that mindset, especially in competitive Guild Wars, but also in all other modes, if you have the mindset of I just play for fun, that's totally fine. But I feel like you can play for fun and have the mindset of I want to get better at the game, because I think then it makes even more sense to say I play for fun because I have fun getting better at the game. That's my philosophy. If I start a new game or any game, Guild Wars 2 in the same, let's say, manner, I want to get better at it because that's my fun. I get fun out of getting better at something. I think the progression is so nice. The feeling that you get better at something by just training and learning. And to this day, even after playing Guild Wars for over a decade, I still think the improvement is there. I still have to improve a lot. And that's really cool, that okay, I can try to improve and have fun while doing it. Even after 10 years or something, I still have the feeling that I can learn something in Guild Wars. That's a tough match. That will be tough. Exactly. I think that's the mindset you should always have, not only in gaming, in your whole life, that if you want to, if you do something, you should have fun while doing it. That's really cool, especially if it's, your free time. Of course, in ideal world, it will also be when you work. It should also be fun to you to do it, at least to some extent. But you should never do something and say, I just do it because I have to do it. And that's the only thing that I have to do. And I don't want to get better, I think getting better should always be something that you should aim for. It might be harder for some people, it might be harder in some situations, but in all situations, I think you should have the mindset to say, I want to get better or at least stay as good as I am, For example, if you do sports, I always would say, do sports to stay fit, and don't say I do sports and I don't care, If I get worse over time, that's fine to me, I think that's not how you should think about it. You should do sports and say, okay, I try to stay as good as I am or even get better at it, At least that's my opinion. I think a lot of people disagree with that, or at least some. But I think for me, that's some important mindset. So the Willbender of them is capping their close. That's interesting. Okay, it's a Condi Weaver. And it's a Condi Thief. That's gonna be interesting. Oh, come on. So we got a kill, but we lost the cap. That's not worth it. So we don't have a support. The enemy team also doesn't have a support.
Windmill capture.
So my team is 1v3ing the enemy thief. That's how it should be. That's interesting.
Our moment has finally come.
Mansion captured. Enemy captured the windmill.
That's a tough match.
Enemy captured the mansion.
I mean, 4 people here. Okay. I think this is a match where I really think it's possibly not winnable as a solo queue player. That's sad because that's where my mindset doesn't help me, you know. I want to get better at the game, but I just get matchmaked with people and it's lost. That's really bad. That feels not good. That doesn't feel good, you know, because that's not a situation where I could say, I know this I could have done then better, because even if I played perfectly here, I feel like it's still not possible to win with it. I couldn't now go for the rest here, but there are 2 people there.
Enemy captured the windmill. Return to the fight. Clock tower captured. Mansion captured.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's okay to make mistakes. That's why I always try to, if I, for example, do a commentary, like my PvP commentaries or something, I always try to point out my mistakes as well. I think not a lot of people that play PvP often tell what they did wrong because they don't want to seem like they don't know what they are doing, or they, let's say, misplayed or something. I feel like that's important to also mention so that people can learn and also know that you can do mistakes, even if you're a really good PvP player. At least that's me, my opinion. That's why I think it should be. You should try to accept that you can't play perfectly. Always forget that this skill is unblockable.
Clock tower captured. I demand that you release me. We must rise and return to the fight.
It's actually not lost at this point. We have a possibility to win this.
It has been too long.
But it's really hard. It's really hard.
Enemy captured the clock tower. I have returned to fight at your side.
So now I let him bleed off point, just to get even more value from the kill. Let's hope our thief doesn't die, because otherwise I have to rally him.
Enemy captured the mansion.
What? No, it's unblockable. See, that's a situation where I misplayed, just because I thought I was good enough to block his elite shout, but in the end he used his unblockable shout before that, so it was unblockable. If I would have seen that, I would actually have lived that, but it doesn't matter, the match is decided now. Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate all your, let's say, comments and feedback. I think it's important to me to know why people watch or don't watch my videos, you know. So that helps me improve as well. So thanks a lot. It's really appreciated. Thanks, Chichi. Chill. Thanks for the subscription. Really appreciate it. You also get now access to my nice, very fresh emotes. Thanks a lot. So let's do some PvE as well. Yeah, also you get some really cool, you know, this first founder badge. I'm still not sure. Let me check. Yeah, sadly, only 2 emotes or so are working because the others are still pending, but they will come in soon, you know. Exactly. So you said I should hydrate. Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of characters. So my characters, actually, I have 70 and I have 72 slots. Not a lot of people have that many characters, and not a lot of people actually do need that many. I just like to have characters depending on, you know, if I play PvE, I want to have a special character for that. And if I play a Mesmer in PvP, I want to have another Mesmer that is not dedicated to PvE, but is only dedicated to PvP, so that I can have multiple builds without cluttering up my templates. That's the idea. Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of, let's say, gems or gold to convert them to gems, and then convert them to templates and equipment slots and build templates. Yeah, that's... So currently, now I'm just grouping up for some Iceblood Saga 5 strike missions. They are done in 15 to 20 minutes and they give you so much gold. Nowadays, when you can convert the blue prophet shards into eternal eyes, and then you can convert that in volatile magic, and this volatile magic can convert into gold using the. Why doesn't it work? No. So give me a second, I have to think here. Not do a mistake. So perfect. Now we are done. That's always, as a commander, you have to concentrate for a short amount of time so that you get all your people the right, right boons. Ah, yeah, you're on the squad. Perfect. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see it. I was too concentrated. But I'm always, pugging stuff, so you can just join whenever you are currently up. So let's hope we have everything sorted. That's funny. Yeah. I mean, yeah, so let's hope I did everything correct while still reading your chat. So I'm playing heal elect, that should be fine, so we have no problems at Bone Skinner. I always feel like if the healer is lagging, it's not good. It's always important to dodge, Yeah, I think Guild Wars 2 basic concepts are really easy to learn. I think that's the cool thing about Guild Wars, that the movement and stuff and the skills is quite easy to learn. I think it's hard to master, but it's rather somewhat easy to learn. I think that's cool. That's how it should be, I think that's the ideal design. I think if you go down to build crafting and stuff, it gets way more complicated, but just the gameplay itself is not that hard. Nice, we have a winner. Thanks for the food, very nice. Always forget I have to turn off my PvP settings. Yeah. Yeah, looks like we have every boon. I think that's one of the most important thing, that if you're a commander, just look for all the boons. That's if you don't have all the boons, it feels so bad to play for your team. And I think that's also one thing that I would always say, people, if you are support, even if you are support that is supposed to deal damage, should always think of your role. For example, if you're quickness support or if you're quickness healer, you should always think the boon that you give should be priority. Everything else is secondary. So if you want to give quickness, you should give quickness. If you deal less damage, that's fine. I actually wrote it, but it doesn't matter. And if you're a PvE player, I would always recommend to do those. It's so fast, and if you have 15 minutes per day, you should do those. It gives you so much gold, and if you want to have 32 slot bags, it's actually even better, because then you get you can make a use out of those Atrite ingots. It's amazing. Yeah, currently I'm just doing the Iceblood Saga 5 because I did the other strike missions before. But normally I would recommend to go for all of them if you have the time. They're really, really good. So if you enjoy strike content, that is. It's not the most engaging one, it's just very easy, but it gives you so much. So I would always say, if you have enough time, I would go for all the strike missions that have a daily lockout, because they are actually quite profitable. So the Iceblood Saga 5 strike missions. And then I would always go for this daily strike mission that is currently prioritized. I would always go for this. And by doing that, you will get all the weeklies as well. So that's my typical rotation. So I try to do all the Iceblood Saga 5 strike missions when they come up in the daily. But as I do them all the time, all day, it's fine. But the other ones, the Soto ones and the EOD ones, I try to do at least once per week, so that I get the maximum value. But if you want to know more about my, what I do weekly and what I do daily, I have already a daily video up on my YouTube channel. But next week I will release a weekly video as well, where I go over all things that I would recommend to do weekly to get the maximum, gold and maximum stuff that you can get per week. So be sure to check that out when it's coming up. I really enjoy having a support chronomancer in the group because it's so versatile what it can do. You know, it can bring a lot of stability, a lot of CC. It's so flexible. That's amazing. So that's why I always try to go for that if I command, because I can carry the group. I mean, strike missions are not that hard to, but if you go for raids and stuff, this is a really good thing to start out and learn commanding. Try to pull it a little bit. Okay, it's fine. Power creep has made this even more easier than it was previously. Just stand here in the middle and spam stability skills and healing, and you can see it's just a smooth ride. Yeah, thanks, Kenshin. Enjoy your day as well. So this boss is a little bit harder to you know, carry as a supporter, because if someone is really mean with the chains, they can wipe the whole group. You can't carry that, the damage is too high. I think it's still really easy. And I also always think about, this is a really weird boss. He does one knockback attack. Yeah, no problem, we can wait. At 25% when he respawns, he does an shockwave of ice or something, and it will knock all people back. So if you are aware of this, you can spam stability beforehand so that your party doesn't get knocked. That's really important, because I feel like if you are DPS, you don't want to get CC'd for 3 seconds straight. So always think about that as a supporter, and if you are a DPS support, then it's also worth it to just go for some stability, you know, if your party other support can't provide it, you know. I have a lot of stability access, so that's fine, but if you are some other healing build that doesn't have that much stability, for example, Tempest can lack stability if you're playing not with staff. I also think that those strike missions here is a really good place to learn how to do your rotation, how to learn your class in general, because it's not hard, but it has some, you know, maybe we can get that dress. Yes. It has some difficulty, you know, some mechanics that you have to do, and that's always the way to go. If you can do some learning process, you should always start with something easy to learn your class and then go slightly harder and slightly harder. So these are really easy. If you do them each day, you learn a lot about your class, your rotation. It's really smooth then. Try to get that rest, please don't. Yes, I got it. So if you have a chain here, you should always go right next to the boss and don't stand behind other people, because then you can kill them really, really easily. Even if you have a supporter like full healer, it might be not possible to out heal the damage of the chains. Another downstat. So now we can actually let this guy downstat because he will rally when we reach 25%. So now that's the situation where I went. Here I tried to spam stability. Yeah, that was the shockwave. It only happens most of the time once. So you can easily do that when you come back. Just spam the stability here and then it should be easy. I mean, I think now it's actually also not doing that much. Yeah. Normally, if you have to spread in the last phase, you can, it does some orbs, and if you, for example, are a chronomancer, you can go invulnerable and stand inside the hitbox and absorb all the orbs it spawns. But it didn't do the attack, so it was not necessary, but better safe than sorry, I guess. So I think we are almost done, only bone skin are missing. Hello Melbanon, welcome. I'm good, I'm very good today. Hope you're good as well. Doing some PvE currently. I think actually, I think I will go for some more CC, just to make sure that we get the CC. So if I would be really try hard, I would probably swap to focus just to pull the wisp in. But if we have a scourge, so the scourge can go for some spectral cross skills, and that's fine as well. We lost one, that's not good. Nice, we got the CC anyway. It's only 9 people. You can see how much CC I did there. More CC than all of the other party members. Because, together, you know, because Chronomancer has so much CC. I mean, we lack quickness in this group, of course, because we lost our quickness EPS, but I can't change that. But you can see it's not a big deal, we can still kill this boss easily. Let's go for another CC setup, I'm not sure if I can do it this time. Not enough. Was not the cleanest run by far, but I tried my best here. So very nice, got it. So I think that's it for my stream today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to check out my YouTube channel as well. And thanks a lot. And thanks for all the followers and subscribers. Really appreciate it as well. And I hope to see you in the next stream. Envy 101. I mean, I'm not as good, but see you next time, I guess. Sleepy, where do you want to 101 in PvP or what? Next time. I think that's it for me. I think I will rate. Who do I rate? So I hope to see you next time. See you guys. Thanks a lot for your support. Hope you enjoyed it.